What's up guys, Bogdan here and welcome to the Import-Export Hub channel. Let's start with the import-export news for week 22, but before that the quiz question of the week. So who is the largest importer of Romanian live ships in 2020 in terms of value? And the options here are Greece, Saudi Arabia or Lebanon. And the correct answer is Saudi Arabia with more than $103 million worth of live ship imports. Let's start with the news. And sorry guys, I totally forgot to add the freight index in the last week newsreel. My fault, and once again sorry. Maybe last week a part of me somehow blocked the information altogether in order to stop sharing negative news. Anyway, it won't stop me from sharing the current Freightos index, which is at $5,414, with the big movers, the North America East Coast to North Europe trade having an increase of 14%, while China and East Asia to North America West Coast index fell with 4%. In terms of the trade across the Suez Channel, we have a new record, guys. From China and East Asia to the Mediterranean, the index is above $10,000, which is really crazy. And I wonder when this will somehow find a plateau or something, as the current rates are not feasible for the small and medium importers from Europe. I really don't know how much pressure can they take. There are some crazy times right now, and I'm afraid that for some of them it will be too much and will either close the business or will start laying off people. And if this trend doesn't find a plateau, as I said earlier, anytime soon, at least for the China and the Mediterranean trade and North Europe trade, I'm afraid we will see some high unemployment rates very soon. And I'm speaking about Europe as I'm based in Italy, and I can say I have a good insight about what is going on in this part of the world. And my thoughts are with you guys, small and medium importers and exporters. For me at least, you are the lubricant of this whole intricate value chain system. Anyway, let's start with some good news for the South Korean exporters, at least, as it seems that the exports from South Korea registered in May another robust month, driven mainly by exports of cars and chips. In the port of Busan, the largest one in South Korea, the congestion now is so high that the terminal accepts the containers due for shipment within 5 days, down from 7 days previously. Also, the export data showed that the shipments of chips gained 24% roughly year on year, rising for an 11th consecutive month, while shipments for cars soared approximately 94%. Also, the petrochemical product exports rose 95% year on year. So good news coming from South Korea, and let's hope that other countries will show this kind of bullish outlook and keep the momentum, of course. After all, we are comparing figures to 2020, which from my point of view was a relatively lost year. Now moving on to the next news, and I know that I didn't cover the service exports or imports in my previous videos, but I really think it's worth mentioning this news. And here is a research showing some interesting data about the financial services exports in the UK and the implications of Brexit. Anyway, according to this research, it seems that Brexit shrank UK service exports by more than £110 billion over a 4-year period forecasted the revenues, highlighting the far-reaching trade implication of Britain's decisions to follow a separate path from the European Union. Also, this research shows that the financial services exports were hit the most as banks, insurers and asset managers moved billions in capital from the City of London to new centers in mainland Europe, in cities like Frankfurt, Paris or Amsterdam. Other UK sectors affected included business services, travel, transportation and information technology. And if you ask me, this is clearly not a good sign for the United Kingdom, and they will really need to reinvent themselves in order to attract businesses and investors, not only for the financial service sector, but also for the manufacturing one. On the other hand, I have another news coming from UK. It seems that UK got a green light on trade talks with the CPTPP as it applied to join in February this year. And if you ask me, United Kingdom will get access to this CPTPP, but I am afraid that will not help United Kingdom shift its economic center of gravity away from Europe towards faster growing parts of the world, as Ms. Liz Truss, UK's International Trade Secretary, told. And I do incline to believe what David HENIG said about joining this partnership. Well, the economic impact for the United Kingdom will be negligible. Maybe I am missing something and I might be wrong, but if you guys have other ideas, other opinions, don't be shy and share them with me in the comment section down below. And moving on to the next news. And I don't know if you remember, but a couple of weeks ago, I've told you about the trade dispute between China and Australia involving wine exports from Australia towards China. And it seems that Australia is considering taking China to the World Trade Organization panel in order to resolve this issue. And remember that China announced an anti-dumping tariff between 116% and 218% on Australian wine imports. And China is the top destination for the Australian wine exports. Now, both the Australian government and the Australian Grape and Wine Association have denied Beijing's allegations. At the same time, the Australian exporters are looking at ways to find new markets for their wines, and it's currently negotiating a free trade agreement with the United Kingdom and the European Union. And guys from Australia, the wine producers and exporters from Australia, I don't have any problem with you, but you will have to come with some really good prices in order to justify the current freight, and I doubt that you will be competitive. If you ask me, China is looking for something else from Australia, and now China is somehow retaliating on wines. But my question is, what do the Chinese really want from Australia? Is it iron ore? Is it gold? Is it food? What do you think, guys? What's the real reason behind all this smoke with the wine and anti-dumping tariffs? Show me the reason, guys. Show me the reason, because I really don't get it. Now, moving on to the next news, and it's another good news coming from Turkey. As the exports towards Europe, Turkey's top export market destination gained pace. Exports surged approximately 65% year on year, with Germany the biggest importer of Turkish goods. Also, the exports towards the United States, the United Kingdom, Italy and Spain surged, and it seems that the trend will continue, especially given the current exchange rate for the Turkish lira, who makes Turkish exports at this current exchange rate very, very attractive. Another big driver for the Turkish exports, if you ask me, is the fact that companies from Europe understood that they need to reduce the vulnerabilities of long supply chains, and I think they've already begun to nearshore some of their manufacturing activities in Turkey, or the companies started to invest even more in increasing the capacity from the production facilities in Turkey. And yes, if you ask me, Turkey is, for the medium term at least, a very, very good place to relocate and nearshore some of the manufacturing activities. Moving on to the next news, and here there is a study released by the Brazilian agricultural research company showing that Brazil has the largest bovine herd in the world, and that Brazil is the biggest exporter of bovine meat. Brazil also accounts for roughly 50% of the global soybean market and became the second biggest corn exporter in 2020. All these exports, in addition to its traditional ones like coffee and sugar. My guess is, considering that this is research done by a national research company, that they will present, of course, all these achievements as a good thing for the Brazilian economy in general and for the Brazilian people in particular. But I beg to differ, as all these products here, except maybe for meat, have very low added value or no added value, and consequently low benefits for the local population. And I won't even factor in the fact that mechanization and automation involved in these industries are wiping labor force and benefits. Anyway, the takeaway message from this article is to always filter information like this and try to ask yourselves, why is this or that happening, or what are the implications and the results, as all the information, including what I'm saying here, of course, has some kind of bias attached to it. Anyway, moving on to China, and this is really short news coming from the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China. But I thought it's interesting, as it seems that China prepares to strengthen its economic cooperation with Papua New Guinea, as China needs right now to secure top commodities like gold and copper in places all over the world. It's on its way in Africa, it's on its way in South America, and now with Papua New Guinea. At least this is my point of view. China is on a diplomacy spree, as it needs to secure friends all over the world. They need to secure access to commodities in order to be competitive in the manufacturing sector, as I am sure that big companies from the United States and Europe are considering nearshoring or reshoring in other countries from Asia. But of course, there is a but. If China does secure these resources, the commodities upstream the value chain, guess what the big companies in Europe and the United States will have to do? And my guess is that they will have to think twice before considering moving out from China. At least for the short and medium term. In 10 years' time, I can only speculate, but I think that China is here to stay as a superpower and will have a strong word to say, and most importantly, the leaders in the developed countries should not disconsider China's power and influence. And with the next news, we stay in China, this time in Yantian port, who is incurring some congestion problems in the terminals, in the ports, due to the discovery of several cases of COVID. Anyways, I won't cover much. I just wanted to point out that this congestion will add even more pressure to an already distressed and clogged supply chain. So guys, brace yourselves, this congestion will have a ripple effect, and rest assured, shipping companies will add a couple of $100s on your freight bill until the situation is back to normal. Sorry guys, but it seems that for the small and medium importers and exporters, 2021 is going to be a really tough one. And speaking of exporters, moving on to the last news, we stay in the Asian region, in Vietnam to be more precise, where it seems that the Vietnamese exporters, of course the small and medium ones, have troubles exporting because of the surge in container shipping costs. And we saw at the beginning of the video that China and East Asia to North Europe was at around $9,500, while for China and East Asia to the Mediterranean was at more than 10K. Sorry guys, but what is happening now, it's really crazy, and I am afraid that it will drive some of the small and medium importers and exporters out of business in no time if this trend will continue. Anyway, my thoughts to all the small and medium importers and exporters all over the world who struggle to find equipment, slots on the vessel, and they are struggling to stay in business. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to comment and hit the like and the subscribe buttons. And of course, until next time, keep your business safe. Thanks.